Flooding and its attendant problems have continued to pose major challenge to the global community. Several issues such as population pressure, continuous emission of greenhouse gases, and indiscriminate dumping of refuse in drains and other unwholesome habits have contributed to the flood risks worldwide. Nigeria, being part and parcel of the global community, has had her fair share of flooding challenges in the past. For instance, the 2012 and 2018 flood disasters that ravaged both homes and farmlands still remain fresh in the minds of many.
The serious climate problem across the world is not particular to Nigeria. Just as countries across the world are planning on what to do, we in Nigeria we're also planning to ensure that we reduce the issue of flooding.
Delta, being one of the coastal states in Nigeria, is obviously not immune to flooding and the many challenges that come with it. The peculiar topography of the state has made most of our communities and cities prone to flooding and erosion.
We know what Delta State was prior to Governor OKOWA'S tenure, and within the last 4 years, he has done a lot to ensure that the issue of drainage in Delta State is controlled.
The desire to stem the tide and save regular victims and communities, the agonies usually associated with flood, propelled the administration of Governor Arthur Okowa to take very decisive steps to checkmate the perennial issue of flood, which over time has plagued most of our major cities.
He started by engaging a consultant who undertook the study of the entire capital territory, and they came up with a report. So with that report, we're able to segment it, and we believe that even the first stage that we're doing now, which is running into billions of naira, will to a greater extent control the flood problem that we have.
His Excellency has done a lot in terms of infrastructure. You can see the storm drain, massive project. Started it at a time when the economy was very bad. Being a man that has faith, hoping that the future will be good, he took the risk, and today, Deltans are very happy.
One major city where flooding over the years remained a source of concern and embarrassment to successive governments in the state is Asaba, the state capital. Asaba is flood-prone as it is situated at the end of a hill that starts from the Okpanam town and the very low valley that stretches to the river Niger. These two factors have perennially made the city a receptacle to flood and epicenter for flood waters. With the increase in structural development of the Okpanam axis of Asaba metropolis, the menace of flood had in recent times become the huge challenge, as even the drainage projects done by previous administrations have been grossly overwhelmed by the large volume of storm water.
It takes a leader with vision to do what he's doing, not just for now, but for the future. Because if you check, the problem of Asaba is flood. Stormwater doesn't have anywhere to go to. So he has, with his consultants and engineers, created drainages to take away the stormwater to the riverside.
OKOWA, the silent achiever, did it, and then he doesn't talk much, but you see action. At the back of my house there, Infant Jesus, that the finished work, got filled, finished work, we're waiting for the proper channeling. By the time the rain starts falling, you see everything moving according to how the channel is to be.
Happily, this challenge has been confronted head-on by the Senator Okowa-led administration. The first major efforts began with the construction of the 2.4-kilometer underground storm drainage. The drains cut across major areas and streets in the city, particularly the DLA, Jesus Saves and Agric roads, and emptying its contents into the Amili Mocha River.
Before today, a lot of flooding takes place in Asaba in such a manner that you don't know what to do. We took a study, and at the end of the study, we decided to take the bull by the horn. It's quite a lot of money, but we are glad that we are undertaking that project. It's quite massive, it's ambitious, but it's not just done because we want to showcase it. It's done because we believe that has to be done to save Asaba from being overrun by flood water.
He's a working governor. That's why we vote him for the second tenure, especially for the drainage. And if you continue like this, I believe even if they will go to the third tenure, he will go.
While the first storm drainage projects progressed with an unprecedented speed, the administration also awarded 2 other major contracts to deflood the Okpanam Road and adjoining streets, as well as Miriam Babangida and DBS roads. One of the efforts is another deep drain being constructed from the Akbu Junction right before the legislative quarters to the Anwai River. The project spans several kilometers and it is designed to address the remaining flood from Okpanam access.
If you go around Asaba in particular, what is happening there is wonderful, and it's helping a lot, because before this time when it rains, the whole Okpanam road is flooded. But from what is happening, we are no more noticing it. It rained a couple of days ago and we are seeing some result from the drainage construction going on. I'm sure by the time it's fully completed, it will be very, very well done.
You are aware that before now, once it rains in Asaba, Okpanam road is nowhere. Even a lot of Asaba places are always flooded. But with the storm drainage coming now, I know it will be a thing of the past.
It's going to weight the volume of water, especially those who are coming from Okpanam side. And my most happiness, he channeled it to a really appropriate place, River Niger. And I wish after leaving the state of Delta State, he will go to federal so that he will transform the whole nation.
The efforts to deflood Miriam Babangida and adjoining streets has brought about the construction of concentric surface drains that progresses into deeper and wider underground channels as it passes through the DBS road and continue to the Anwai River through the Cabinet Road and the Government House.
It's commencing from the DBS junction, but it's going to collect all the water coming all the way from Miriam Babangida through Wayek Road, empty into DBS, then flow through DBS. It will cut across that Anwai road still, then go through the Cabinet Road, then through Government House to empty into Amlimocha Stream.
By the time this project is completed and other ones that are of this magnitude are completed in Asaba, Delta State will be fortunate to have had somebody like OKOWA as a governor.
Perhaps of interest is the depth of the drains as well as the dimension and strength of the concrete being used by the contractors to execute the project. In some areas, it could be as deep as 10 feet into the bowels of the earth and wide enough to accommodate large volumes of storm water.
Since we started doing this project, people passing by always commend the effort of the governor for having brought this type of a drainage system. They say that for the past years, I wish there is a sort of a drainage like this, the problem would have been solved because it is big enough to carry any volume of water. And it's not only carrying it, it will deposit it right to the river.
The government have done a very big favor to the masses. If you know Asaba before, you know that you are staying in your house, water will just come and carry you. But this one is something we are talking far back. Just see, drainage is not ordinary one. No. This drainage, I measure it by myself. I'm not a contractor. I measure it. It's about 30 feet deeper.
And come and see the standard of drainage this man has done. It's amazing. Where you will see gutter as deep as can swallow a car and everything connected. Delta State is blessed with OKOWA.
It is also noteworthy that in addition to these precautionary measures, the state government has also cleared many drains and canals as well as dredged the Anwai River preparatory to make it an effective reservoir for expected storm water being channeled into it from different areas of the city.
There are fish ponds inside this area. We're doing the job also to protect the ponds because this is one of the biggest ponds we have in Delta State. You have about 10,000 ponds around this area, this Camp 74. Most of the ponds you're seeing here now is being sponsored by government.
With the network of drains crisscrossing most parts of Asaba, residents can now heave a sigh of relief as the impact is already being felt, even as it is yet to be completed.
The way the keke is parking along the road is no more. They are parking near the drainage, which there is no disturbance along the road, and the road now is clear. It is doing better, it's doing well. If he could have been the first governor we see here, or the second or the third, I think Asaba could have been like Paris.
There was a big flood normally used to gather in this place. That makes some of the customers not to drop to buy something. But since they've done the drainage, you can see once it rains, you will see all the water will just gather and enter inside the drainage, and everywhere will dry off.
Now the road is very, very okay. Whenever we are coming to work, the road is free, no hold up, no flood. So I'm enjoying it. I've really benefited from the construction.
Smart Delta.
Hey, welcome to Delta. Governor where they want.
Hi, my name is Fretless and I live in Asaba, capital city of Delta State. As an entertainer, my job entails a lot of movement from one place to the other and also to be at the right place at the right time, meaning that I need good roads to be able to meet up with work or appointments. And with the new government reform on construction and rehabilitation of all major and feeder roads in the state as part of its smart agenda, it has become so easy for me to move around at all times. Now, I just cruise from street to street, city to city, all over the state. And even apart from the roads as I move along daily, I see magnificent projects everywhere. Check out this one in Warri and several other places. Wow. Governor OKOWA is indeed a man with a vision.
Come see empowerment through the step and the again. You do education and sports development. That's why Delta not they carry last at all. Who they bring peace to communities and the creeks. Even storm drainage to carry water to the river. Lot of healthcare, housing and agriculture. Prosperity, prompt payment of salaries. Let people they happy with OKOWA. OKOWA not the tire. Every day he they work, even job creation, water provision. Everything correct with OKOWA.
Moving with an infectious confidence on account of the success story of the Asaba flood management efforts, the administration did not waste time to turn its attention to Warri, the commercial nerve center of the state and adjoining cities. The topography of Warri is undoubtedly unique, as the city is just 6 meters above sea level. The location of Warri and adjoining towns like Efrun and others, which are surrounded by water, make them prone to flooding, especially in the rainy season, when water bodies in such low-lying communities overflow their banks.
That of Asaba is being handled right now, and I'm sure it will be fully completed according to the program, and the next city is Warri and its environment.
You have seen Asaba project is ongoing, and there are drainage activities going on in other senatorial districts. He's a political mathematician and he has done very, 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 very well.
As a start point to put inhabitants of the city out of their flooding misery, safeguard the environment and the continuous growth of socio-economic activities, the government set up a committee of experts to study and advise it on measures required to tackle and bring the challenge under control.
The study is still ongoing, so what we need to do is to look for the quick win, those things that will probably be able to deflood some areas while the ongoing study continues until we're able to have the holistic study and then take the final decisions.
For the past 6 months we have been meeting, doing detailed study of the area.
The important thing to do now is to actually clear the water courses of weeds, hyacinths and trash made up of all sorts of water, plastic bottles and things. Once these are cleared, then we expect that even when you have the rains come June, July, in the summer, you shouldn't have the kind of severity of the flooding problem you had.
James Ogoye, Commissioner for Works, disclosed that after the committee was inaugurated in July 2018, it inspected 101 prone sites and areas and 13 natural courses.
What we intend doing is to ensure that what we do in the immediate that will help to remedy the flooding of Warri, Efrun and its environment. I want to appeal to Deltans, especially those living in Warri and Efrun and its environs, to please cooperate with the committee, because what is going to happen is that there's going to be massive drainage work.
The strategic importance of Warri as a commercial nerve center of Delta State is such that the government could not close its eyes and allow flood to ravage the city without taking steps to check the menace. The number of flood-prone areas and sites inspected is suggestive of the seriousness of the challenge in Warri and environs.
The stormwater, what we have done now, we help the people who are staying around this particular area. I will thank the governor for making it possible for this type of stormwater to come in place to solve the problem of the area and environs.
Trust Smart Delta Media crew. The quest to be on top of the situation and bring up-to-date, credible information to Deltans led our team to visit the areas and see things for ourselves. We were taken on a guided tour of the areas by a member of the committee, Chief Emmanuel OKOWA'S, to see the extent of work done. Our first port of call was a natural waterway at Ugborikoko area of Warri and Uye. It is heavily silted and requires desilting and proper channelization to take storm water into the major drains. That passage can be traced down to Willie Street, the terminal point of OKOWA'S layout.
You see, to my left is the natural waterway. Today it is heavily silted, has plants on it. But if you keep your ears very low, you see that the water that is still there is moving, but you may not be able to see it now because of the weeds. Once the major drains are done, the minor ones are done, then our roads that are tarred will have a longer lifespan. I believe in what the governor has told us, that something has to be done. It is an electoral promise. Because he has kept the ones he gave in the past, we believe he will do exactly that.
Smart Delta Media continued the tour to the next location, which was Marine Quarters, which is a heavily populated part of Warri South local government area. Our tour guide did not fail to point out that most of the houses are perpetually flooded during the rainy season. He, however, stressed that government has taken into account the committee's report on how to drain that area.
The road is higher than the Marine Quarter level. And so it is now to be channeled back to the Ugborikoko area of Uye local government through to Boboro stream at Willie Street into OKOWA'S layout.
There will be a facelift, restoring back the good days of Warri. The life of the people will be better off, living in a better environment. The high trend of mosquitoes around at least will go down. Artistic value would come up. Even for property owners, they will have value for their properties.
For the residents of Marine Gate and Ifyogo Street, Warri, rainy season breeds fears due to massive flooding that overruns their homes and businesses. However, with the proposed drainage to be constructed in the area, residents are hopeful that their socio-economic lives will no longer dip during the rains.
This place is a swampy place, and if government can able to make here through to us to pass, it will be very good for us.
It's going to be highly beneficial to the people of this area. It is true that we have flood problem here very seriously.
It is instructive to note that not all areas impacted by the flood will require underground drains, as some already have natural waterways but were blocked by plastic wastes, seaweeds, as well as other rubbish indiscriminately dumped by residents. One of such areas is Jakba in Efrun. It requires clearing and some dredging to deepen it to accommodate larger volumes of water, and that effort is also progressing.
You help us because of the flood, the dirty around the environment when it's rain. It will just help us. Governor, thank you.
It will actually reduce the smell and the sickness and make the environment look neat and tidy due to the constructed drainage.
A little further up, the Jakpa Road, a culvert is currently under construction. Storm water will be channeled from here through NNPC Complex Road into Ekpan River, Efrun.
It will solve their problem very much because presently as the work is going on now, the people who are living around there, they are very happy and they are thanking the governor for doing that type of a drain in that particular area.
After seeing Ekpan in Efrun our tour guide took us to Ebo Road by Christ the Rock Church, OKOWA'S Avenue within OKOWA'S community. It is entirely a different part of the city. Just like in most areas we have been, the existing drains are heavily silted and covered by weeds. Residents say their suffering during the rainy season is better imagined than witnessed. It therefore came as a welcome relief when contractors and committee members visited the area to ascertain what needed to be done.
I will say a very big thank you to the governor for coming to our aid, and our people will benefit a lot. Those who want to trade, they will have chance to trade. Those who want to do business, they will have chance to do their business, and everywhere will be free for movement.
It will be a favor to the community of OKOWA'S, and also unto the people who are living around here, and also to the church.
For decades now, this environment be suffering from a flood. So we really appreciate the government, especially like Governor OKOWA'S, who have the intention of doing this something.
We have heard tales from the inhabitants of the city as to what they suffer from flooding during the rainy season. However, there is absolutely no doubt that when the flood control measures are completed, it will truly bring smiles to the faces of the people. Their homes will be safer, and their streets will be drier, and their businesses will boom like never before. And the people of Warri, Efuru, and its environs will rejoice again.
Smart Delta.
The flood challenge is not confined to only Warri and environs. Smart Delta media roving lenses were turned to OKOWA'S and Sapele. The topography in these areas is akin to what is found in Warri as in many other cities in the state. Thus, the challenge they face is similar. In Dagbasa, Sapele local government area, and Ogara, OKOWA'S local government area, massive culverts were constructed with waterways to check flooding in these areas.
Because of the water flow, people find it difficult to come in. There are some people who have portion of land here, but they cannot develop because of the water. But with this one now, we are happy because everywhere is dried up now, so they can come in to develop. And where they are building houses and the place develop, people will be populated there.
When I packed to this place, all these places are all flooded down to our house. But today we were surprised that the governor said, no, I need to help my people. So with this project, we are very, very happy.
We are happy. This way we help our movements, help our work. People are not passing here much again. But now they are praying to God, the road is okay, the work is okay. I think we will make little money nowadays. OKOWA'S is our man. At least for this, God will bless him.
It is instructive to note that efforts at deflooding the cities will ultimately impact on the roads. The roads will definitely have long lifespan as they no longer accumulate storm water, which weakens them and responsible for many failed portions.
I'm very happy, very proud of our governor. He is doing a lot, and the construction of this road I see by compared with other roads over there, as we call him road master. You see now.
If you can look at the tide is very solid and the road is good. The governor is really doing a nice work. That's why we are calling him Ekweme, the road master. The Ekweme Buruburu. That's how we praise him. He's really working.
There's no better evidence than what we are seeing now. So OKOWA'S is a performer. When you put infrastructure in a place, like the type that is doing, roads everywhere, contractors will work. The local economy will boom, and everybody will be happy for it.
With our roads and cities now drier, it is safe to say they will become investor-friendly because the fear of losing their investment to storm water has been reduced to its barest minimum on account of the construction of the storm drain.
When this storm project is completed, people will have a new lease of life. People will not have to move from where they are. They will be able to bring in more economic activities will take place there. Businesses like hotels, cinema houses. With that happening, obviously the social and economic lives of the people will improve.
Governor Ifeanyi Okowa is definitely changing the narrative as he is tackling flood challenges in several smaller communities such as Aviara in Isoko North. In this part of the state, blocked water channels that caused flooding in several communities are being dredged and open up, as well as building spurs along standard roads in these communities.
It's a good venture because I've been associated with this road long time before now. And I think it is good that Delta State government finally awarded this contract and the road was completed. We must thank God for that because it's an incentive to the rural dwellers.
When it comes to flood season, you cannot pass the road, but now our governor have helped us. The road is so good, we can pass it with leg, bicycle, anything movable.
The Governor OKOWA-led administration holds a strong view that infrastructure development will engender economic growth, lead to social improvements, and give all communities equal opportunity for growth. Deltans, perhaps at no time, have exuded more confidence in the chief executive than now.
Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, my humble and amiable governor, God has recorded what you are doing. At the end of our system, your legacy will ever be remembered. And everybody called OKOWA will be given high respect because you've come to make us proud.
Come to Delta State, come and see the good things where OKOWA they do you better. Run, come to Delta State, come and see the good things where OKOWA they do. I see a job and work creation in Delta, make the youth say them higher. OKOWA, I see good roads everywhere in Delta, make the people say them cola. Come live in Delta, say me I say, come invest in Delta. Come explore the potentials of our state.